Hello everyone, it's Richard Lewis here again with another video, and today I'm going to be talking about something that I haven't talked a lot about on the channel now and then, but it's something I'm becoming more and more interested in, and something I'm sure I'm going to be talking about a lot more in the future, and that is PUBG esports. And in particular, what this video is going to highlight, I hope, is kind of how, as new esports develop and look to become established in the esports space, you're going to have growing pains. You're going to have teething problems. I think it's incredibly important for kind of the stalwarts of esports that have probably seen incidents like the one I'm about to get into happen in the past. You kind of lend a little bit of experience and clarity and just highlight when things kind of go awry to make sure they don't happen again in future. Not really a lot you can do about the past except learn from it, and I certainly hope that's the case. So what I'm going to be talking about here is Team Secret were disqualified from the PGI Latin American qualifiers just this week, and there was a big brouhaha about it because to sort of just give you the cliff notes of what happened, because I know people say my videos are too long, and I'm going to be playing some audio in this, so it will be extended. But basically, they were the team was in attendance at this qualifier between game 1 and game 2 of their games. Their coach put some information on Discord, which the players couldn't see because they were live in a game at the time. And that was it. That was enough to have them instantly disqualified from the tournament. And obviously, there's a lot of problems surrounding this. Now, Team Secret have put out several statements about this, challenging it. The community of pro players seems to be in uproar about it. Most of the PUBG talent and commentators and pundits all agree that an injustice has sort of happened here. What I've been able to do is obtain a recording of an admin from the tournament basically saying that no wrongdoing took place as far as they were concerned, and the team complied with every instruction that admins gave them. That recording and all the evidence I've seen is enough for me to think that this really is an injustice. And I'm going to play you that recording. And I'm going to put the others, because again, I want to keep the video as concise as possible. I'm going to put the others on my SoundCloud, and you can listen to them at your leisure. They'll be in the description below. But look, so I've told you the situation. Let's just start by talking about the Team Secret reaction to the disqualification. There's a lot of important context here. I interviewed some of the players from the team and got their perspective. So I'm going to throw some sort of commentary in to this statement. But you can see here, it says, several weeks before the PGI Latin American qualifiers, we received instructions on travel and logistics. The guidebook indicated that coaches and managers were not allowed in the studio venue. This seemed unorthodox, but we decided to have our coach communicate with the team electronically instead. And certainly, this is unorthodox. I've never really heard of that happening in any esport I've covered. I mean, I'm certainly at a loss off the top of my head to think of an example. I certainly, I don't even know if I can think of an example from just PUBG. Maybe some players can correct me on that. But certainly from the esports I've been involved in, the idea of preventing coaches and managers from being around players, certainly on stage, I understand, but being nearby to facilitate anything they need is pretty much standard practice. It's almost as if that's what they're there for. And then it says here, a few days before arrival in Brazil, we received clarification that coaches and managers would be allowed in the venue. Nevertheless, as our coach Sam is based in the US and unable to obtain a visa on short notice, we decided to push forward with our original plans. Now, at this juncture, I think it's probably important to add a little bit more context here from interviewing the players that I was able to obtain, the Team Secret players. And basically, they said ahead of time, they were hearing lots of stuff about how they were not going to win this time. If you don't follow the PUBG scene, Team Secret is a South American team with, two Chileans now, and someone from Panama, and now a North American that joined the team on what I understand is a short-term contract. And they generally do incredibly well in South American qualifiers. They win them, and then they go to the big events, and then they typically underperform. That's pretty much the story of Team Secret in a nutshell. And they were hearing lots about how because there's obviously rivalries between South American countries, that, you're not going to win on Brazilian soil and all of this stuff. And they just took that to mean they were going to be kind of hunted down in the game. But then what they started running into was all these little strange things that occurred. For example, the miscommunication about whether or not the coach could attend. That certainly precluded him from attending because they didn't have the time to get the visa for a North American. Same thing happened for the North American player, 17, former Optic, very well known in the PUBG competitive scene. The admins told Team Secret he doesn't need a visa. Let me tell you, he absolutely fucking does. It was very bizarre that they were sort of posturing that he didn't. Maybe it's an honest mistake. But then the official invitation to the tournament was delayed, and it didn't turn up until one day before the event. And yeah, just a lot of bizarre behavior just to even get the team to the tournament in the first place. But again, you could put this down to incompetence. You could put this down to honest mistakes. I'll let you decide as we go through the story. But here is the rest of what happened. When we arrived at the studio, we found Discord came preloaded onto the tournament PCs, which was great, pretty standard practice. Absolutely is, yes. Discord, you will find, is now the sort of bits between that and TeamSpeak, but more people are leaning towards Discord because of its functionality. And most tournament PCs at tournaments preload for obvious reasons, mostly time constraints, and to make sure that players aren't downloading software. Most tournament PCs preload the audio software they're going to use to communicate during the games. So their tournament had Discord on the tournament PCs. And thanks to Discord having an outside connection to the internet, their coach could communicate with them, and so how have you landed, how's things going, all of that. Point 4. After our team was knocked out of Game 1, we tuned into the Twitch stream to continue watching the action. Also very standard practice at most LANs, from DreamHack to PGINA to GLL. Yes, this is the norm in PUBG. You will find that, once you get knocked out of a game, you'll put on a Twitch stream, kind of watch what's happening. You'll jump onto a Discord or a chat program, and you'll be in there with other pros that are eliminated, sharing information and hanging out. It's still got that kind of community vibe that you see in a lot of upcoming esports. Oh, I remember those halcyon days when Counter-Strike was like that. Not now that we're rock stars. Point 5, during Game 2, while our team was live in-game, our coach sent messages to the team Discord in order to prepare for Game 3. And this was specifically about, like looting patterns, things his team needed to be doing for the next game. And he sent that information. And that's what coaches in PUBG do. Now, they were in-game. It says there, to be absolutely clear, all 4 of our players were live in-game during this time and had no knowledge of the messages being sent to the team Discord. Tournament replays, TeamSpeak logs, and admins can all confirm there is zero evidence that any player on Team Secret opened Discord while Game 2 was live. There was no AFK moments during the game, and admins watching our players the entire time. The information sent by Xanth, the coach, a review of drop sites for Game 3, irrelevant in the middle of Game 2, was noted after Game 2 concluded while the team was in the huddle. Now, this is a point here. Again, if you don't follow PUBG religiously, you might not know this. You cannot fucking stand still in this game. No pro would do it. So one of the points that's made in the initial recording, which is where the team have been informed that they're disqualified, and they are trying to say, look, there will be evidence that exonerates us. Point number 1, to get this information from Discord, you would need to Alt-Tab. And then because it's Discord, you would need to get the images, and you would need to open them in a browser or enlarge them somehow. And that alone would take 3 to 5 seconds of at least one person on the team being stood still. The players all said, listen, go look at the demo, and if at any point one player is stood still for 3 to 5 seconds, fine, we're happy. The disqualification can stand. They won't find that because they didn't get this information. They didn't alt-tab. So then, I mean, you would also need to disseminate that information, so it would take a lot longer than 3 to 5 seconds. But there's even a recording of them saying, look, this is it. And also as well, you can see as an admin on Discord, you can go and check the timestamps, which brings me to point 7. Tournament admins wish to immediately disqualify us due to a timestamp of messages being sent to the team Discord during Game 2 with no evidence of players doing anything during Game 2 other than playing the game. Simply a message sent by our coach, read after the game to prepare for the next. So you can see from the timestamp it was sent during the game, and you can see it sync up with the players playing during the game. This is enough for you to discern that no wrongdoing took place. Anyway, the tournament director immediately decided to remove them. That's a summary of point 9. We'll pick up the pace here. And then furthermore, the head of PUBG Esports Brazil held these discussions in the vicinity of other teams. And you will see this from the recording. There was no privacy to tell these players they were disqualified. The argument was pretty much had on the shop floor. Now, honestly, I feel with esports, sure, we should be past that point and professionalism should be paramount. It's not always going to be that way. Admins do have a thankless task. I think this point is less important. It's not professional, fair enough, but it's just the idea that other players could then sort of see what was going on, make their, it's not ideal. And then there's an apology here, and you can see that they also published the rules. Now, this is the other key point here. Nowhere in the rules does it say Discord is banned. Nowhere. It doesn't say that. Yeah, that was one of the rationales that the admins gave when it came to the disqualification reasoning. Then they also tried to pivot and then say it was about the Twitch thing as well because they'd opened Twitch. They went and looked at the browser history when the tabs were opened, and they said, look, you've opened Twitch 3 times. That also isn't in the rules, but the admin said don't do it again, and they complied with that instruction and didn't do it again and didn't open Twitch. But again, just so you know, and I'll say this to any aspiring tournament organizers, you can't just fucking make up rules on the fly. You've got, if it's not in the rule book, you can't really go disqualifying teams for doing things that you should have included in the rule book. Yeah, I mean, even if you want to stand by the little caveat that all tournaments have, and I know I've done plenty of them, saying the admin's decision is final and we can make any decision we want. If you want to stand by that, sure, but you can't do something as severe as disqualify somebody based on that. I know E-League's been down that road, multiple times. We always try to find the happy medium. It's just how you do it. It's the common sense approach to adminning. It's a tough job. Okay, so anyway, let's get to the next part that came out, and this was that the secondary response, because obviously once this went public, and look, there is a little bit of politics and whatnot at play when you're a big brand like Team Secret and you've got a fan base. Obviously, when something like this goes public, you get it into the court of public opinion. But they did have a discussion with the admins, and you can see here the answers the admins were given were just not satisfactory. So look, you can see here, when we asked why a penalty was finalized without actual proof that information was used during Game 2, the response was, the decision is mine, and it is final. There was no further clarification. When asked to review individual player replays to prove without a doubt that no player on Team Secret exited or alt-tabbed to Discord while Game 2 was live, the response was, the decision is mine, and it is final. When asked where in the official rule sheet Discord is not allowed, the response was, well, the admin said it, the decision is mine, and it is final. Now, again, and this shouldn't need to be said, but if Discord, right? Okay, if Discord was banned, why have you preloaded it onto tournament PCs? And here's an interesting little bit of information, a little nugget that doesn't seem to be out there in the public domain yet. They actually, after disqualifying Team Secret, they blocked the port so you couldn't connect to Discord. Nobody could connect to Discord. Why not do that at the start before you disqualify anyone? It's weird, isn't it? It's weird that you wait until after you've disqualified this team. These Chilean players on Brazilian soil. It's very bizarre that you would choose to do that. So, whatever. Anyway, we'll get back into just breaking down the admin's conversation. So when we asked where in the rule sheet it said Twitch TV is not allowed, the response was, well, there's still the Discord thing. So they're not, they were trying to go back and forth. It's like you're trying to double dip. You're trying to say we're disqualifying you for the Twitch thing. That's enough for disqualification. Even though, again, everybody was doing that. And it is the norm at every tournament. And then they kept going back to the Discord thing when they couldn't point to the rules. What rule had been broken there? When asked if an individual player replays may be reviewed to prove players were completely in Game 2 and not checking Discord, the response was, I don't know, but the decision is mine and it is final. When asked if there is someone we can appeal the decision with to review the hard replay evidence and make a final ruling based on the actual facts, the decision is mine and it is final. That's what the head admin said. Now, look, again, this shouldn't need to be said. Your tournament rules need to be robust enough that there is an appeals process and people can review evidence. If you're going to make an absolute, determined ruling like this, where the consequences are immediate, then you have got to have the evidence to back it up. And clearly they don't have any, because if they did, you would have released it, right? So, just one final point. I know the reason everyone's going to be tuning in is the recording primarily, and I will play that to you. But look, this tournament had other problems buried way down in a Reddit thread. There was this, and again, I've been out and verified it. I've got no reason to think anybody's going to tell lies here. This was about another team that had issues while at this tournament. And you can see here, this is from Yobdab TV. I will give a bit of context to what has it been to be part of this tournament. My team was playing round 2 of the qualifier, and our admin told us if we asked one more time why we're delayed, because they had a 45-minute delayed, he would ban us for the rest of the game. Not just that team, but anyone asking in the lobby. That's hugely unprofessional and petty. If there's a serious delay to play, you have a responsibility as an admin, as a tournament organizer, to effectively communicate that to the players. There is a difference between a player whining and saying, this is shit, this is unacceptable, and a player asking why. You must be able to provide that information. If you cannot, you cannot blame the player for asking. They have a right to know. Your audience has a right to know. Everyone has a right to know. A very young, a new team, Aeon, qualified even by missing one game of the qualifier because one of their players had issues with his computer. They managed to clutch it and qualify. The admins banned them from attending the LAN finals because your 4th player was registered to the website by someone else but him. Actually, it's worse than that. If you look at their official reasoning, they said it was account sharing. Do you want to know what the account sharing was? Yeah, the player had been signed up to the tournament by the manager of the team. So he'd been signed up by somebody else, and they said, well, no, that's account sharing, so you're banned, you're disqualified. Then it says here, Andy's team, one of their players needed the flight ticket so he could get permission to leave the country for the visa, and he was sent the ticket 1 to 2 days before the flight. He didn't get the ticket on time, and Andy's flew 2 players only. They were told they could play as 2. And this is important for the next one. Pandora's Warriors had last-minute issues too, and were told they couldn't play as 2. Pandora was told they couldn't play as two, and of course they would be missing the games. Needless to say, Andy showed what the admin had told them, and that was that they could play as two. The whole tournament, this is hyperbole, and it says here, the whole tournament was run by Brazilians. The admins made a reunion and told everyone that if anyone said one word about what happened, they would suffer repercussions. They have zero evidence of wrongdoing. Even the admin behind them said he didn't see anything wrong. He made the call to ban them for games 1 and 2 and punished them with 2 extra games. There was no cheating. There was no evidence of wrongdoing. And this is the recurring theme to all of this. So, yes, absolutely, it seems absurd. There is enough anecdotal evidence to maybe point to the fact that there was some potential bias from some of the admins. And again, this is absolutely crucial here. Hundreds of people were involved in getting this tournament up and running, and a handful of people have really misjudged how to handle this situation. I always stand by admins. I think they've got an incredibly tough job. My record on this is pretty much very often the unpopular voice in the room, because I say, look, the admin's decision is final. And I will 99 times out of 100 stand with the admins. Not this time. This is ridiculous, and it's made all the worse by the recording I'm about to play you, which is this one. And again, I will provide you with all of the recordings I was able to obtain. These were sent to me anonymously.
Was not the guy.
So I'm going to basically play this for you, and you can see for yourself. It's about 5 minutes long. You'll be able to hear for yourself that that this admin, who calls himself the chief, says he knows that they didn't do anything wrong. I mean, that's it, isn't it? I mean, that's right there, pretty much all you need to know. So let's do it. Let's get into it. Let's hope the tech holds up. So I'm just playing it off my...
Was not the guy.
You told him that you didn't tell us to uninstall Discord.
Yeah, another guy told.
Who told us?
Another admin.
Do you know who?
Yeah.
When did he tell us to uninstall Discord?
I don't know. I'm the chief. I only have reports from other guys, and I say to him.
Okay, so you told him that someone else told us to uninstall Discord. So can we talk to the person who said that to you?
What? Can you repeat?
No one ever told us to uninstall Discord. So you, as our league ops, are saying that someone else told us to uninstall it?
Yeah.
Right? So can we talk to the person who is saying that they said for us to uninstall it?
I don't know. We can talk with Marcelo.
But who's the person?
I can't say the name.
Why? If they're telling the truth, there's no problem. But they're not telling the truth because no one ever told us that, and you know that.
Yeah, I know.
I know you know.
I didn't say anything.
I know. So now,
the only thing that I say to him is me say to you to close the Twitch, and you're.
And we did.
Yeah, you did it.
And we never opened it again afher you told us to.
No, that's right.
Thank you. So we've been telling that from the start.
problem is that another players. I saying that you, another player of your team was using the cell phone, but that's not true. Smithy give me the cell phone of him to give it to Barbara, and I give it to him. To her.
So you are our league ops.
Yeah.
Do you think at any point we did anything wrong?
Yeah, me.
Yes. Do you personally think we did anything wrong?
Me?
Yeah.
I only see Twitch, and you close it. That's
Right.
okay. But another thing, it wasn't me. I'm only the chief for Spanish. I'm not the principal chief, you know? I'm not Venom, the other guy.
So Venom's the one that said we were in Discord?
No. He's the chief. Wasn't me.
Okay, that's fine. But you are our admin, right? You were watching the whole time behind us. You never saw us tab out, right?
Yeah.
Correct? Okay. You never saw us do anything we weren't supposed to be doing. Okay. So now we are getting disqualified for it, and there's nothing we can do about it?
Another two things that happened was Papai was using the map, and I said to him to close. He take the notebook and put it on the floor. I saw it. And he was watching Twitch. You close it. Everything okay. But the Discord thing wasn't me. Okay?
Okay, so who do we talk to about the Discord thing?
I don't know, man. You want to talk
Marcelo
with?
will never say because we asked him 1,000 times.
I asked him, okay. And he said that because me was the person that of the chief, and I have to put money. That's what they say to you. That was me, but I didn't say anything about Discord because I speak to Barbara, and the thing does. Okay, the PCs are with Discord.
Yes.
The sponsor installed it because it was to use Discord in the first time. Do you remember that we changed to TeamSpeak? And anybody uninstall Discord. The thing is,
Nobody uninstalled Discord?
no,
So all the other teams had Discord too?
no, the other things close it.
Just closed it, but they didn't
Yeah.
uninstall it.
That's right.
Okay.
Okay. I don't know if you remember, but I say to all of the teams to close Twitch chat. No, Twitch, Steam chat, and you close it. That's right. The thing is, I talked to Marcelo. I got another reports now, another guy that said that they say to you to close Discord. Another guy said, not me. I don't have the fault. No?
Okay, so can we hold the next person accountable if it's not you? Because you're doing the right thing right now. You're explaining your side, and I appreciate and respect you for that. But someone is at fault here, and we are the ones getting punished. We are the ones that are losing what could have. We didn't even, like, it wasn't even over. We were still in 5th or 6th, but like, we are losing our chance to qualify over it. We don't even get a chance. We could have gotten 2nd. Like, there's other good teams here who could have qualified, but we don't even get the chance now because someone is being dishonest. And I understand now that it's not you, right?
I'm feeling guilty about it because I'm the chief, and that's why I'm talking to you.
Okay.
I want to be fair to all of this
I appreciate that.
because I think it's not fair. Because I talked with Smithy, and he said the screenshot was about the first game, not the second. For me, the first thing is to read the Discord log, and I know that you didn't alt tab the game for see it.
Right, because you were behind us the whole time.
And what's the problem of see the Discord log to see if you read it?
Right.
In the game.
If you can see
Yeah.
what time the message was read in the Discord logs.
Yeah.
So that is proof that we didn't ever look at the logs.
And why they didn't do that?
Why not? Why didn't
Yeah.
they? You don't know either.
If you're not blind, why they didn't do that?
Right.
We even tried to approach Marcelo the human way and tell him, okay.
Right, so to summarize, that is the admin that was stood behind the team saying they didn't alt-tab out. Also saying that the other admins didn't even attempt to read off the Discord logs when the players read the message, which they can do. They didn't do that. He also said you were treated unfairly and that he saw nothing. I mean, this is the end of the debate. This is the guy who was stood behind him during the games. The guy who was tasked to review the area, and somehow by somebody else in the admin team who didn't have that role, he's been overruled, and you can hear it all there. So this is incredible to me that this has happened, and I don't understand why. And I think, honestly, that Team Secret can definitely feel aggrieved. This isn't an instance of an organization whining. This is a genuine blow to the integrity of PUBG esports, and it just needs to be reviewed. There's nothing you can do about it now, after the fact, but you've got to put way more robust rules in place. And there's got to be way more transparency about how the admins handle themselves. And at least be consistent in your message to the players if you're going to disqualify them. So anyway, I was just blown away by that. I don't know if this is going to achieve anything by putting this video out there. But I think when these things are sent to me via my website, I want to put them out there. I want people to know the truth of what goes on. So there you have it. So anyway, video's probably has already been too long. Apologies. Thanks for sticking with it. And yeah, I think Team Secret have really been harshly dealt with here. Anyway, thanks for your attention, and hopefully I'll see you on the next video.